Hey yo, peace family, grand rising, good afternoon, great evening, gracious nights. Welcome to the Source FOTG.
Well, isn't this a nice surprise?
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Brooks Jr. In December, I had to witness a brutal beating of murder by New York correctional officers. Earlier this month, I got news by the medical examiner. It was very painful, but unsurprised news that my father's death was ruled a homicide. After today, I witnessed over 10 New York correctional officers finally face crime charges. I will never get my father back. The men have robbed me of that opportunity. Still, indictments are an important step toward accountability. These men murdered my father. It was on video. The whole world got to see it. Waiting months for these charges have been extremely hard, but these men need to be prosecuted and convicted of the crimes they made. But even these convictions are not enough. Any person with authority who allows abuse and violence to go on for so long also needs to be held accountable. And I pledge, and my family pledges, to not stop until we see change into how our state prisons are operated, and that this no longer has to go on anymore, and no one has to face what me and my family have faced. My father's death will not be in vain. Justice for Robert Brooks. Thank you.
After days of deliberation, the jury has finally delivered their verdict. The Oneida County Court has delivered the final judgment in the brutal December death of inmate Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional. Today, we'll be watching the entire verdict reading, and the results will speak volumes. 10 corrections officers were indicted, 6 cut a deal. We're here for the final 3, Kingsley, Gallaher, and Kiefer, and actually there's one more with the court date set for January. The truth is a split decision that will send a shock through the system.
Good morning and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I now receive your vote indicating the reached a verdict. This time the clerk of the court will take the verdict. That first will begin with the verdict as to the people against David Kingsley.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state against David Kingsley?
Yeah.
As to count 1, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Guilty.
As to count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, the foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the second degree, guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
Yes.
If anyone said no just now, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised, does either side wish the jury to be polled?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll then proceed with respect to the matter of the people against Mathew.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state of New York against Mathew Gallaher?
Yes.
As to count 1, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Not guilty.
As to count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Not guilty.
As to count 3, gang assault in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Not guilty.
Members of the jury, your foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the second degree, not guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Count 3, gang assault in the second degree, not guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
Yes.
If anyone said no just now, will you please raise your hand? Seeing no hands raised,
So 2 of them not guilty. The rest of them guilty. It's one more coming in January, but we'll see. What up, Ali? I see you. Appreciate you joining, family.
inquire as to whether either side wishes the jury to be polled.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Very good. We will then proceed with taking the verdict as to the people against Nicholas Kiefer.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state of New York against Nicholas Kiefer? As to count 1, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Not guilty.
As to count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Not guilty.
As to count 3, gang assault in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict?
Not guilty.
As to count 4, offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? Members of the jury, the foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the second degree, not guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Count 3, gang assault in the second degree, not guilty. Count 4, offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree, not guilty.
So the gang charge is crazy though, like that they didn't get the gang charge, but I don't know, maybe that would be a RICO or something. I don't even know if the other ones that was guilty, because they only said the murder charge and the manslaughter charge guilty, but I didn't hear them get no gang charge with the other ones either. So how did they not consider them with the gang charge when it's more than 3 people? It's 10 of them. And they all doing the same thing, fighting with the same colors and same clothes and all that stuff. So even the prosecutor called them a gang, and it's more than 3 that got convicted. So how is the jury gonna say that they not a gang? So I don't know. That's crazy. We know how that go though. But let's keep it rolling.
Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
Yes.
If anyone said no, you please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised to satisfy this jury, hold this action.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very good, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your jury service. On behalf of this community, you ably served on the very sincerely. This has been a difficult case for everyone involved. It is evident you put an awful lot of work into it. You have our gratitude. All the rules you've been operating under up to this point are hereby lifted. If you wanted to, you could talk to people about the case now with your services.
And also, we wasn't able to see the trial because they cut it off. They didn't show the whole trial, so we didn't get to see the evidence that they had against the officer that he put in a false report. I know we covered it before, but I don't know. Maybe I'll play the closing statements at the end if enough of people show up. If we get enough of y'all, we'll play the closing statements at the end. What up, no one? I see you, family. Keisha in the building. What up, though? I see y'all. Appreciate you joining.
You also absolutely understand and not have to do so. You're welcome to go back to your lives. And I think they should do so with the thanks of this court. You are discharged.
Please be seated.
All right, so in the matter of the people against Kingsley, the jury having returned verdicts of guilty, Mr. Kingsley's bail will hereby be revoked, and that will be scheduled for sentencing now on December 16th at 9:30 a.m. Between now and then, Mr. Kingsley, probation will be up to jail to speak with you for your pre-sentence investigation. I will rely on that being part in determining an appropriate sentence in your case, so we make sure you are cooperative with them. With respect to the remaining defendants, then acquitted, hereby discharged and free to go. Anything from either side?
No.
Anyone anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
So let's be crystal clear on what the jury handed down.
shit.
David
Monkey
Kingsley,
shit.
guilty on all major counts. Murder in the second degree, manslaughter in the first degree. The full weight of the state has fallen on this man. The verdict is guilty, and he is now scheduled for sentencing on December 16th. Mathew Gallaher was found not guilty on every single charge, family. Murder, manslaughter, gang assault, walked free. Nicholas Kiefer found not guilty on every charge, including the serious count of offering a false instrument for filing, also walked free. 2 walk away, 1 faces life. This is the definition of a split verdict, and it confirms what we told you from day one. The system found a way to separate the blame. The son of the deceased, Robert Brooks Jr., stood in front of the whole world and delivered a heart-wrenching message. These men murdered my father. It was on video. He said those visuals will haunt his nightmares for the rest of his life, that he will never be okay. He also called out the system, the entire structure that allowed this abuse to thrive, vowing my father's death will not be in vain. Justice for Robert Brooks. A pledge to hold every person in authority accountable, the battle is far from over. But there was some justice, even if only partial justice. One of the accused, Christopher Wallace, one of the correction officers who took a plea deal and agreed to cooperate, stood before the court for his sentencing.
Hey yo, what up, Miss D56? I see you, family. Appreciate you joining.
And nevertheless, you lied about the use of force used on Robert Brooks on December the 9th, 2024.
Lady L in the building. What up, Lady L? I see you. Appreciate you joining, family.
Yes. And sir, at the emergency room, you did nothing to prevent the assault or protect Mr. Brooks. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you realize that these repeated assaults caused serious physical injury to Mr. Brooks and resulted in his death.
Yes.
People are satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Walrath, how then do you plead to the second count, manslaughter in the first degree, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How old are you now, Mr. Walrath?
36.
And you can read and write the English language, correct?
Yes.
You're a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
Do you have any physical or mental problems that could prevent you from understanding what you're doing here today?
No.
Did you consume any kind of drug, medicine, or alcohol before coming to court that could affect your understanding?
No.
You're not currently on any form of probation or parole, are you?
No.
By pleading guilty, you are giving up your right to have a jury trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
At a jury trial, you would be presumed innocent and you would be entitled to the following rights: to be represented by your attorney, to confront and cross-examine witnesses presented by the government. You'd have the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself. You would have the right, but would not be required, to call witnesses, or you could testify on your own behalf. You would also have the right to require the government to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury of 12 people who would have to be unanimous in finding you guilty. You understand you have each of these rights, and by pleading guilty here today, you're giving up each of these rights.
Yes.
You understand by pleading guilty, you're also giving up any defense you might have to these charges.
Yes.
Now, a plea of guilty is the same as a verdict of guilty rendered by a jury after a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Other than the plea and sentence agreement I spoke of earlier, has anyone made any other promises to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Did anyone threaten you or force you to plead guilty?
No.
Have you entered this plea today voluntarily and of your own choice?
Yes.
You understand that those that are incarcerated for a felony conviction do lose their right to vote in an election until such time as they are released.
Yes.
And now lastly, sir, part of your negotiated plea here does require that you waive your right to appeal. As a defendant in this court, if convicted, you have a separate and distinct right to appeal a judgment of conviction to a higher court in Rochester known as the Appellate Division. There you can, with your attorney, and a free one if you cannot afford it. You can file a brief and argue before that court that there exists some problem with your conviction here in this court. That is a right you have. It's also a right you can waive or give up, and it is being required that you waive your right to appeal on condition I give you the sentence promised to you. That means your conviction and sentence in this court will likely be final, so there's then little you can do to go back after the fact to try and change that. You will have thereby significantly limited your options for appeal in the future. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you spoken with your attorney about waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, I have.
Do you then agree to waive your right to appeal on condition I give you the sentence promised?
Yes.
And are you doing so voluntarily?
Yes.
I'm holding up for
I guess that's a little interesting right there, because we always see them make the everybody else waive their rights to appeals, like everybody during the YSL trial. So it is a little bit interesting to see that they make the cops do the same thing. So, hey.
For you a document entitled Waiver of Right to Appeal. Halfway down the page, I see the signature Christopher Wallace. Did you sign this document here after reading through it and reviewing it with your attorney?
Yes.
Based upon the defendant's statements and his demeanor here in court, I find a knowing voluntary plea with a factual basis. I will direct the court to enter the plea into the minutes of this court. I will adjourn the sentence until. Charges, and is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Sir, do you now swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Walrath, I'm going to ask you some questions now. These are to help me decide if I can accept your plea or not. So if at any time you do not hear a question, you do not understand, or you need a moment to stop and speak further with your attorney, then you have to let me know that, okay?
Sir.
Do you understand by answering my questions and pleading guilty here this morning, you're giving up your right to remain silent and to not incriminate yourself?
Yes.
Have you spoken with your attorney about your case, about pleading guilty and thereby waiving your right to have a trial?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Yes.
Have you had enough time now to speak with your attorney about your case?
Yes.
The charge you are to plead guilty to, pursuant to this agreement, is count 2 of this indictment. It charges you with the felony offense of manslaughter in the first degree. That is in violation of penal law sections 125.20, subdivision 1, and also 20.00, as you are charged under an accomplice liability theory. It's alleged here that on or about the 9th day of December 2024, while you were here in the county of Oneida in the town of Marcy, you, along with your co-defendants, acting in concert with each other, being corrections officers, and intending to cause serious physical injury to another person, you did cause the death of that person, that being that you, along with your co-defendants, participated in multiple beatings of incarcerated individual Robert Brooks, which ultimately resulted in that individual's death. Do you admit that all to be true?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, did you want anything further for the elocution?
A few series of questions with the court's permission.
You may go right ahead.
Mr. Walworth, you were assigned to work in the Arsenal area of Marcy Correctional Facility on December the 9th, 2024, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you leave your post inside of the Arsenal area on December the 9th against departmental policy and procedures upon the arrival of Robert Brooks?
Yes.
Did you and your fellow corrections officers, Nicholas Kiefer, Nicholas Anzalone, and Robert Kessler, assault Robert Brooks outside of the Arsenal on December the 9th, 2024?
Yes.
During that assault, did you put Robert Brooks in a chokehold against departmental policy and procedure?
Yes.
On December the 9th, while in the emergency room of the Marcy Correctional Facility, did you and other corrections officers assault Robert Brooks?
Yes.
During that assault, did you strike Robert Brooks about his body?
Yes.
And did you intentionally strike him in his groin?
Yes.
Were you aware at that time that striking an incarcerated individual in the groin is against departmental policy and procedure?
Yes.
Is it correct that you never reported the use of force that was used on Robert Brooks near the Arsenal area at Marcy Correctional?
Yes.
Is it correct that you never reported the use of force that was used on Robert Brooks in the emergency room at Marcy Correctional?
Yes.
You were aware, sir, were you not, that you were required to report any and all uses of force on an incarcerated individual, whether justified or not?
Yes.
And nevertheless, you lied about the use of force used on Robert Brooks on December the 9th, 2024.
Yes.
And sir, at the emergency room, you did nothing to prevent the assault or protect Mr. Brooks. Is that correct?
Correct.
Shout out to Special the Godz. Tell everybody. Well, I still fighting through the devils, man. Like they be trying their best to hold me back, but y'all gotta give the people what they want, bro. You know what I mean? The people want some real, man. It's time for the real people who ain't pretending to be in position.
Good morning. This is Robert Brooks Jr., correct?
Yes.
My name is Robert Brooks Jr. Last December, I watched as you, Mr. Warrath, and your fellow correctional officers beat my father. Robert Brooks to death on camera. I'm here to give an impact statement as though I can ever truly describe to you the impact your actions have had on me and my family. You took my father, you took my son's grandfather, you took my grandparents' son, you took my uncle's brother, and the list goes on. Did it ever occur to you that my father was human, with a family who loved him? In that video, I see you and your fellow officers treating him as his life holds no value at all, as if you're entitled to brutalize him for sport. I want you to imagine for a moment what it feels like to see someone you love treated that way. I want you to imagine watching someone beating your own father helpless, restrained, bloody. I want you to imagine watching your own father be hit with the 50 boot or being dragged by his neck. I want you to imagine watching all of this happen to your own father and you being total powerless to stop it. I will never get these images out my head. They invade my consciousness without warning, flooding me with the worst feelings imaginable. They will haunt my nightmares for the rest of my life. I am not okay, and I never will be. My father had struggles in his life, but was using his prison time to work on himself. He studied American Sign Language, deepened his faith with God, and maintained a healthy relationship with me and the family. He was scheduled to be released July 23, 2026, and he was hopeful for his future, and his family was eagerly waiting his homecoming. You took that away from us. Although I can never forgive you, I respect that you have admitted what you did and accept the responsibility. And I hope that others have the courage to do the same. That goes beyond what happens in any courtroom. Anyone who watched this video can see that your actions did not occur in a vacuum. You were part of a system that dehumanized my father. Every person in authority who allows a system of violence and abuse to exist and continue must also take responsibility. Mr. Warreth, you are no longer acting within the system. Now, your life is at the mercy of it. And I pray for your family who's going to have to spend the next 15 years worrying about you, just like all New Yorkers with incarcerated loved ones must do. No one should ever have to go through what my father and family endured. Thank you for hearing me out.
And it is hereby sentenced as follows. As to the conviction for manslaughter in the first degree, the defendant is hereby sentenced to a determinate sentence of 15 years in state prison, that is along with 5 years of post-release supervision. Further, there is imposed a mandatory surcharge, crime victim DNA fees, which will total $375. The defendant is committed for the term of the sentence.
Wallace, on the record, admitted to his crimes under oath. He testified that he and his co-defendants participated in multiple beatings of Robert Brooks. He confirmed that he put Brooks in an illegal chokehold, and later in the emergency room, he intentionally kicked Brooks in the groin, a flagrant violation of policy. The judge handed him down a penalty of 15 years in state prison, plus 5 years of post-release supervision for manslaughter in the first degree. Wallace and Kingsley are now behind bars, but the question remains, are the officers who walked free truly innocent? We all know the system is rigged. You heard the family's pain, you saw the split verdicts, but here's the most damning truth of all, straight from the prosecutor's mouth.
Felt that we're not going to plead to anything, and at this point, they've been successful.
Where do you think your prosecution's case wasn't successful on those two defendants?
I have zero regrets about the prosecution's case. I had an incredible team. State police were fantastic in investigating the case. There's a single thing I could have presented to that jury to make it more clear about the involvement of the two defendants. They disagreed, and that's life.
You're looking at 7 out of 10 guilty pleas. I mean, taking a step back, is that satisfying to you?
What I'm most gratified about is the intensity that my team put into the case while, I might say, running a completely separate office west of here. I'm very proud of them, very proud of the state police and the job that they did. But you had two very good lawyers, actually 4 very good lawyers that represented these two gentlemen, and they worked hard, they worked fairly, they worked ethically, and the jury spoke, and I have zero criticism of the jury's verdict.
Will you appeal?
I would love to, but since 1783, we have been unable to appeal a acquittal. But it's not the end for Mr. Gallaher and Mr. Manslaughter, and I don't mean to throw gas on the fire, but the United States Attorney for the Western District is investigating this case, and they will proceed.
When asked about the video, the core piece of evidence showing Robert Brooks' brutal death, the prosecutor admitted that one of the deepest ironies of this case is that officers involved were unaware they were being recorded. He then laid out the cold reality. If that footage hadn't existed, if the officers hadn't accidentally saved the tape, the entire case would likely have been swept away. Would we be here today, he asked? In my judgment, no. The official story would have been that he fell and hit his head. Think about that, fam. The only reason we have any convictions, the only reason Kingsley and Wallace are going to prison is due to a technical glitch. The system was designed to protect those who wear the uniform, even under the face of murder. Robert Brooks' father and his legal team have seen the system from the inside, and they call it what it is, rigged. They speak not just of bad cops, but of bad culture, a system where those who hand out reprimands are closely associated with the guards they oversee. The system lacks integrity.
I believe that the prison should close because it sends a message. The message is that your primary source of income in your community can be eliminated if these types of things happen in the prison in your community. However, my issue with that is that the guards from Marcy is just going to go to another prison. So for me, a 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. That's my take on it.
Follow up to that, do you think the commissioner of docs should resign, considering what you just said?
I don't know enough about him as an individual to say that he should resign. Prior to now, I didn't know a lot about this system and how rigged it is. So I wouldn't say that he needs to resign. What I would say is that the system needs to be restructured so that anybody that holds that position isn't allowed to see these things go on or know these things are going on and either sweep them under the rug or totally ignore them.
What did you mean by the system being rigged?
So if y'all didn't catch that, family, this is his father. This is Robert Brooks' father right here, just in case y'all didn't hear that part.
What I learned is that you have people that's making decisions in reference to the guards that oversee the prisons as far as reprimands or punishments are concerned that are closely associated with those guards and those systems. So it's like they're governing themselves under okay.
The system lacks integrity.
Under
That's the sound of the police.
Right, the system lacks integrity. So I've had an opportunity to look at quite a few bills that are being pushed forward, and I think that they're all good. I don't think that they're enough. I think that there's a lot of thought needs to be put into how to reform the system. And I don't think any one particular person or any one particular law is going to change the level of I don't even know what to call it, because when I think about it, what I think is evil.
So is there something, so it's not a legislative proposal, you're saying, like, it's not one that can change the culture, or is there something you feel that is missing you'd like to see proposed that isn't being talked about?
One of the things on a personal level, because I've heard a lot of different legislations and a lot of different law proposals, law change proposals. One of the things that I would like to see happen on a personal level is that when something happens to a prisoner, at least when they die or they meet their demise in prison, that individual isn't and stuff is covered up by the actions of the people that do the autopsy. From what I see is that it's just a lot of people doing a lot of things that isn't in the best interest of the prisoners, and that isn't bringing the information that needs to come out to the public to the public.
The family's goal is no longer just vengeance for Robert Brooks, it's total reform. That the people sent to prison are given a chance to come out better, not come out in body bags. That every person in authority who allows the system of violence and abuse to exist must be held accountable. That when an inmate dies, the cause of death is not covered up by a faulty autopsy. This fight is not over. The convictions of Kingsley and Wallace are just the start. We will remember the name Robert Brooks. Remember the cause. Justice against a system that protects its own. We'll stay locked in with the federal investigation. We'll stay locked in until there is a systematic change. The state prosecutor made another point. He said that he's unable to appeal the not guilty verdicts, but he warned it's not the end for Mr. Gallaher. The United States Attorney for the Western District is investigating this case and they will proceed. The state investigation may be complete, but the federal hammer is still waiting to fall. The defense attorneys, basking in their victory, claim their clients were vindicated by the videos, but the federal grand jury may just see those videos very differently.
My life was turned upside down from this, 100%.
It's not the end for Mr. Gallaher and Mr. Manslaughter, and I don't mean to throw gas on the fire, but the United States Attorney for the Western District is investigating this case, and they will proceed.
Mr. Kiefer, any comment? How are you feeling?
I'm very appreciative of how the jury was and how they actually took their time to do their job and everything like that. I do want to show my remorse for the family. What happened to them was not something that a family should go through. I just am very appreciative of what the jury did and how they were able to deliberate and find me not guilty.
You've had your family here all along. What's that support been like?
That's the most amazing support. Just because they're in the courtroom doesn't mean they're not supporting me. I've got hundreds of people supporting me, and I am so appreciative of them, and I had to keep my faith this whole time.
So Mathew Gallaher is a man of integrity. He should never have been put through this ordeal. He told me he would never accept a plea bargain from the beginning. This is pushing to the brink of bankruptcy. Docs owes him an apology for putting him in this situation, for failing to train, supervise, and provide leadership in that organization. He wouldn't be here without that.
How's he doing with this verdict?
Heading straight home to his family. That's all he cares about.
How has he gotten through this? It's been a tough time, I imagine.
He sucked it up. That's what he did. And he said, I'm going to go through it. In my heart, I know he didn't do anything wrong, and I'll accept whatever verdict comes from the jury.
Marcy.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
What?
Straight up monkey shit. Straight up monkey shit. Yo, shout out to Ali for dropping the gifted membership, and shout out to Keisha for dropping the gifted membership. Y'all show them both some love. Drop them some what ups, and some coins, and some smoke emojis, and some TKs, and all that good stuff. Show them some love in the chat. Appreciate you, family. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, that was some monkey shit right there. Let's keep it rolling. Show them some love. And shout out to Champ My Black is Golden, always a stream sponsor. Lock his ass up. Feds. Nobody cares. Nobody over here owes him shit. Okay. Ali said the first thing comes to my head is whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. All right, let's get it. Wait, what'd she say? What's that? He is just as motherfucking guilty as the others that did nothing to stop it, what was happening when it was happening, and said nothing to anybody about what happened, and was trying to cover up and wouldn't even say nothing if they didn't get caught with the camera. So that's a fact. Shout out to Ali for that. That's a fact. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep it rolling.
Andrew Kingsley's conviction now makes...
Said, I'm going to go through it. In my heart, I know he didn't do anything wrong, and I'll accept whatever verdict comes from the jury.
Monkey shit.
Andrew Kingsley's conviction now makes 9 of 12 former Marcy Correctional officers who are guilty, with a 10th still possible. Immediately after the verdict was read, Kingsley was rearrested, taken into custody in handcuffs in front of the courtroom. All throughout the trial, the defense lawyers were pointing fingers at other correction officers who already pled guilty as the real culprits. Now, David Kingsley has been found guilty among them.
The people that are sentenced to prison, that they come home and they get a chance to be the best people that they're capable of being. That they go to prison and they come out better, that they don't come out in body bags, they don't come out maimed, they don't come out emotionally worse off than they was when they went in. So I believe that that's going to seeing this on video. As I said, no one could have told me that these things are happening in prison. Yeah, I heard people talk about it. I've seen it in movies, but nobody could have told me that it was happening. So what I feel is that this system in large part needs to be investigated and it needs to be changed.
I imagine the videotape is very valuable evidence to the case, but to think that it may not have existed because those officers didn't intentionally record their devices, it was by happenstance. Wondering the value of the tape, but also the fact that they might have not been seen doing it if they didn't record it.
There's no question that one of the ironic features of this case, and the grand jury found, the officers were not aware that they were being taped. That's going to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. So it begs the question, if the Axon didn't have that feature of recording the previous 30 minutes and saving that into the cloud or whatever they call it, would we be here today? Would Robert, in my judgment, would have gone to see Attorney Schwartz, and Attorney Schwartz would have said, well, I don't know what happened. you know, they say that he fell outside and hit his head and was under this influence of some kind of narcotic. And
I don't remember what I said, but I was high every day for a whole year, and I was at anything. I was at done anything to get out of here. I was at done anything.
He must have caused these injuries to himself, and you know, God only knows if we would have been able to, you know, proceed with where we are today.
Can you speak to the logistics of getting the 10 people, or what is it, over 9 is today, in custody?
Well, that was done masterfully by the state police with the assistance of the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Once the indictment was unsealed, the defendants pre-arranged locations with their attorneys, surrendered. Those without attorneys surrendered anyway. And the state police at, I think, 4 or 5 various locations throughout upstate New York managed to get them here to court. Yes, in the back.
Hi, I'm with WPTV, the NBC affiliate here in Utica. I'm just wondering if plea negotiations would be entered into.
Where are your police?
A prosecutor has an ethical obligation to attempt to resolve a case before trial, and I'll certainly do that. But I'm not going to do that until I speak with Robert Brooks Jr. and the rest of his family. And if I do that, I certainly am not going to tell you, with all due respect, I don't discuss plea negotiations. It's not ethical to do that.
The video is graphic. New York's Attorney General shared the video.
Where are your police reports?
Yesterday and called what happened shocking and disturbing. Here's NBC's Sam Brock.
Newly released shocking video shows these correctional officers fatally beating an inmate, Robert Brooks. The footage, blurred and redacted by state authorities, shows officers repeatedly kicking and punching Brooks in the legs and chest and trying to jam an object down his throat. New York's Attorney General says Brooks was pronounced dead December 10th, a day after these interactions with correctional officers was recorded.
I do not take lightly the release of this video.
James says the video doesn't have audio because the officers announced dead December 10th, a day after these interactions with correctional officers was recorded.
I do not take lightly the release of this video.
James says the video doesn't have audio because the officers involved failed to properly activate their body cameras. It begins with Brooks being carried inside, handcuffed, and face down. He's then raised up, face bloodied, and punched in various parts of his body. Brooks was serving a 12-year sentence for stabbing his girlfriend. His attorney says his death is incomprehensible.
I was there with Mr. Brooks' son and his father and his brother. They all watched the video as well, and I think it was just...
What tone does it set for the mid-state COs?
I'm sorry?
What tone does it set now for the mid-state COs?
For the which COs?
Mid-state.
The Nantwit. Oh, Nantwit.
Yeah,
So I'm saying this.
No. No. No, he's sleeping.
I don't think it has any effect on that. That's a separate case. I hope people look at the amount of effort I put into the case and appreciate it, and remind people that, you know, in addition to Mr. Kingsley, we have received substantial pleas on a multiple number of other people. When this case started, I knew a lot of people thought that this would be resolved by a bunch of resignations and official misconducts and probations, and it didn't turn out that way.
Last question for me. What should the prison system take away from what you've learned, what you've discovered?
The governor has had a number of conversations with me. I don't purport to be an expert on penal law or running a penal system, but there's some things here that are obvious that need to be changed, and she's indicated a willingness, at least to me, to address those, and I think she will.
Do you have one or two?
Well, there's got to be, in my judgment, there needs to be a specialized bureau within the Attorney General's office that deals with all assaults in prison, not just on inmates, but on corrections officers as well.
Thank you, Bill.
Do you think any of the language in these laws and churches should change?
There needs to be a specific statute that deals with duty of care regarding a corrections officer. I thought I made it clear in this case that was such a...
It looks like some of the defense lawyers are now coming out. Let's check back in.
Ooh, why you walk away on him like that? Hold on, why you just walk away from him in the middle of his sentence? Like, hold on, nigga, there's something else more important.
Officer, I thought I made it clear in this case that was such a...
It looks like some of the defense lawyers are now coming out. Let's check back in.
I'm very appreciative of how the jury was and how they actually took their time to do their job and everything like that. I do want to show my remorse for the family. What happened to them was not something that a family should go through. I just am very appreciative of what the jury did and how they were able to deliberate and find me not guilty.
You've had your family here all along. What's that support been like?
That's the most amazing support. Just because they're in the courtroom doesn't mean they're not supporting me. I've got hundreds of people supporting me, and I am so appreciative of them, and I had to keep my faith this whole time.
What did it feel like being in there as the verdict was being read out?
Well, as you can see, it was a very emotional part of my life, and I just want to get past it now.
What's next for you?
Going home and hug my family. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Is this what you were expecting as an outcome?
There was no expectation out of this. It was up to them, and I can't see what's in their minds.
How have you gotten through this?
Supporting my family, that's it. Family, friends, and everything else.
Mr. Fitzpatrick mentioned the possibility of a federal judge in the Western District. Is this something that they've reached out to either of you about?
I have reached out on behalf of Mr. Kiefer with respect to the potential federal prosecution. I hope that they have paid attention to what this jury had decided. I think the jury spent, a solid 2.5, 3 days deliberating on this matter, and they reached the proper conclusion. Mr. Kiefer has maintained his innocence right from day one. And his story has not changed at all. When I first met with Mr. Kiefer day one, the first thing he said to me is, "How do you feel so terrible for the Brooks family? This is a tragedy." However, Mr. Kiefer did not participate in Mr. Brooks's death.
You got an acquittal without calling a single witness. The defense all the way through, not calling a single witness.
Evidence that the special prosecutor had, his whole office was fantastic. They disclosed every ounce of evidence they had. We have been able to scrutinize that evidence very, very closely. And when we reviewed the videos when they were first released to the public, it clearly showed that Mr. Kiefer was not an active participant in this. There was certainly some non-compliance by the late Mr. Brooks. My client acted appropriately under policy and procedure, and then, as we said in our opening and our closing, after that minimum application of pepper spray, there was not one finger laid on Mr. Brooks again. We did enter in and out of that treatment room for seconds, merely seconds, but he did not touch Mr. Brooks at all. He never would have touched me. He wouldn't touch any inmate inappropriately. He's never done that. Everybody has heard the testimony loud and clear of the Sergeant Glenn Trombley, who said in the 10 years that he has worked with Mr. Kiefer, he has never seen Mr. Kiefer get angry, and if there was any application of pepper spray used, there had to be a good reason for it. And I think the jury found that out.
Do you feel judged at all by the public? Has your life been?
Yes, my life was turned upside down from this, 100%.
Members of the public have spoken to you in the store, in life?
Honestly, not really. I've just, I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
Do you have any comment on your peer's verdict of guilty from Mr. Kingsley?
No comment.
No, neither do I. No comment on Mr. Kingsley. I do think that it's a contradictory verdict, given the states of mind that you need for both those charges, but that would be for his attorneys to evaluate.
Thank you. Do you think the video?
From day one, I've always maintained the position, and as my client, that the videos actually vindicate my client. We are sorry we didn't have the videos from the time Mr. Brooks first arrived at the Marcy Correctional Facility, because then the whole story would have been on video. But the portions of the video that we did receive certainly vindicated my client, and we felt that was a big part of our defense, which is why we went through methodically with the jury.
The evidence is going to show that anything that I may have said, they exacerbated it.
Playing all the different segments and sections. Thank you.
What does this case mean for the Corrections Department? The indictment, it alleged a gang conspiracy in a welcoming committee. What does this verdict say about the job of corrections officers?
I can't speak for corrections anymore, so.
That is non-existent. That is non-existent in the Marcy Correctional Facility. There is no welcoming committee. As you've heard through the testimony.
Shout out to Trakisha. She says, "Thank you for covering this case. I didn't even know about this case." That's what's up. I appreciate you being here, family, as well as all y'all. Let's see. Ali says his life has been turned upside down by things. What about Mr. Brooks? Right, and his whole family, right? Losing his life and his family. Their lives were turned upside down because of these motherfuckers' actions. The fuck? Right. Monkey shit. Shout out to no one. Appreciate all y'all, man.
Monkey shit.
the COs, they work, so the shifts are so different. It's not a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job. They'll be working 18 hours on a Monday, 18 hours on a Wednesday. They won't work Thursday. They're working 8 hours on a Friday. They're always working with different people. There is no gang mentality. I say that with the utmost respect. As a special prosecutor, obviously late 18 hours on a Wednesday. They won't work Thursday. They're working 8 hours on a Friday. They're always working with different people. There is no gang mentality.
No gang mentality. They all wear the same colors, right? It's more than 3 of them, right? They committed more than 2 crimes, right? That's gang mentality. What is you talking about? But man, that's that bullshit.
I say that with the utmost respect. As a special prosecutor, obviously laid out a fantastic case. We've been sitting on pins and needles.
Sergeant Trombley seemed to trash some of the systems.
That's that bullshit right there. Man, you know what? Yeah, you right. Lies. Like you said, lies. Hold on. We got the perfect clip before we move on.
The truth is you are a liar.
And I just wonder, from your firsthand knowledge, is there anything you'd change about the system as someone that worked there?
Unfortunately, I don't think my client is in a position where he can change it. I think that's going to start from the top on the way down. I think...
I don't know. Advocacy from the bottom can change things.
It's possible. You're right. And I don't mean to discount that, but I think the powers to be, the higher-ranking politicians, starting from the governor on the way down, have to do a very serious study within the Department of Corrections. And that
he said start from the governor. Whoop, whoop. That's the lies of the police.
The truth is you are a liar.
That's where the change is going to have to start. The client is in a position where he can change it. I think that's going to start from the top on the way down. I think...
I don't know. Advocacy from the bottom can change things.
It's possible. You're right. And I don't mean to discount that, but I think the powers to be, the higher-ranking politicians, starting from the governor on the way down, have to do a very serious study within the Department of Corrections. And that's where the change is going to have to start, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Let's go back out to the courthouse now, where another lawyer is now
pushing to the brink of bankruptcy. Docs owes him an apology for putting him in this situation, for failing to train, supervise, and provide leadership in that organization. He wouldn't be here without that.
We went into this case with the idea immediately that 4 people had to be held accountable for Robert's death. All 4 of them will now be serving lengthy prison sentences. That's Mr. Farina, Mr. Kingsley, Mr. Manslaughter, and Mr. Wallace. When we looked at the tape for the first time, those were the individuals. We offered the 2 gentlemen that were acquitted lesser charges.
We almost up out of here, family. About 5 more minutes. Let's wrap it up with the son, Robert Brooks Jr., and give him the last word of the night. Appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, tap in, share with a friend. Chiquisa says, shut the fuck up. No apologies. Shut the fuck up!
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Brooks Jr. In December, I had to witness a brutal beating of murder by New York correctional officers. Earlier this month, I got news by the medical examiner. It was very painful, but unsurprised news that my father's death was ruled a homicide. After today, I witnessed over 10 New York correctional officers finally face crime charges. I will never get my father back. The men have robbed me of that opportunity. Still, indictments are an important step toward accountability. These men murdered my father. It was on video. The whole world got to see it. Waiting months for these charges have been extremely hard, but these men need to be prosecuted and convicted of the crimes they made. But even these convictions are not enough. Any person with authority who allows abuse and violence to go on for so long also needs to be held accountable. And I pledge, and my family pledges, to not stop until we see change into how our state prisons are operated, and that this no longer has to go on anymore, and no one has to face what me and my family have faced. My father's death will not be in vain. Justice for Robert Brooks. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And as several people have already said, on behalf of every New Yorker, God bless you, and we're so very sorry about what happened to Dad. I'll take questions. I'm going to take every question, so there's no reason to jump all over it. Just tell me what news agency you're from and to whom you'd like to direct the question.
This is a victory for accountability, but it's a painful, imperfect verdict. The fight for true reform, for a system where people who go to prison don't come out in body bags, continues. And of course, we'll stay tapped in and on top of this story here at FOTG. We will keep you updated with Kingsley's sentencing in December, and we'll be here for the final officer's case heard in January. The fight for the full story, for the flesh of the Godz, continues. Stay locked in, family. Stay vigilant, stay fresh, and stay blessed. Until next time, family. Peace out. And let me send a shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to No One in the building. What up, family? I see you. Appreciate you. Shout out to Miss D56. Appreciate you joining, family. Much love, much love. Still got that 56 emoji coming soon. Don't trip. Shout out to Ali. Appreciate you. Stream sponsor of the night. Hold on. Put some respect on your name. And Keisha. And Chan My Black is golden.
It's not the evidence. The evidence.
What?
Shout out to Ali. Shout out to Chan My Black is golden. Shout out to Keisha. Stream sponsors of the night. Appreciate y'all, family. Shout out to No One. Shout out to Watch the Rise. You dig? Shout out to the new members, new subscribers. Appreciate everybody who came through. Shout out to Lady L. Much love, much love. Appreciate you coming through. Big love to Lady L. Miss D56. Appreciate y'all coming through. And until next time, family, make sure that you stay fresh and stay blessed. Go to our Kick and check it out. We will be airing some more about Melissa Perez. We air that only on Kick because they got me in trouble with that. They strike my channel for that. That's why I was gone for a minute. But if you want to see me cover Melissa Perez, then check me out on Kick. Appreciate you, Rock Solid TV, dropping the links, and check out Rock Solid TV on Kick as well. We got some new stuff coming over there exclusively. Some stuff we can't talk about over here, you feel me? But check out that No One new track. And besides that, we out, family. Much love, much love. Stay fresh and stay blessed, family. Peace out. Have a great night, family. Stay blessed. Stay vigilant, too.
Our kids will not be. It ain't your money.